Welcome everyone. Hello, I am Faith. I am Ojibwe from Bear Island Reservation. I am the granddaughter of Tom Molyneux, and we are gathered here today on the traditional land of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe people. This land is protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. I would now like to turn over the cooking class to Maya.
Hi everyone, my name is Maya, and today I will be showing you how to make Colombian patacones. It's a little dish that we have. It's like a side dish that you can
you can have it with something.
you usually don't have it by itself. You have it with something else. It's made with the plantains, like this ones that we have right here. They could be green, they could be a little yellow, they can even have like black spot, and each like stage of the plantain has like a different result after you cook them. So it's gonna be interesting because for everybody it's gonna be a different taste since everyone has a different plantain. Okay, so for the first part of this cooking class, I'm gonna ask you to with the 2 cloves of garlic, smash them first and put them in water and let that sink in, like while we cook the rest, so that the water can have that garlic flavor.
It's fun. Also, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them or type them out if you're muted. We can answer for you if we're not doing anything else.
Yes. So, and I would also like you to start preheating your oil so that we don't have to like wait once we have peeled the plantains. So I would recommend to put it on low medium temperature while we're like peeling the plantains, because I know it can take a while. I have the practice, but not a lot of people has it. So for the plantains, we're gonna take, I would recommend to wear not a huge knife because it can be a little dangerous, or not too small, not too big. This is like the perfect size for me. And it doesn't matter like the shape of the knife. So for the first part, I would take the top and the bottom of the plantain, just remove them with the knife. Like this. For if you have 2 plantains, then just do it. Right. So you should have something like this. So it's a plantain with the top and the bottom, like that. And
How much wood?
Oh, for the pan, you should have like a little pool with oil. It should be like, depending on the pan, of course, because you have like deeper pans and more.
Would be like enough for them to float in it, maybe?
Yeah.
Like when you cut the plantains, they should float.
Yeah, you don't need to cover the whole thing, like the whole piece of plantain, but it should cover like half of it.
Enough to cover them a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay, once we remove the head and the bottom of the plantain, take the knife and make a cut through the skin of the plantain, and you're gonna go from top to bottom. So you're not gonna cut like halfway, like. Like don't cut it in half. Just try to cut the skin of the plantain.
Yeah, just penetrate through the skin of the plantain and line. That's all.
And try to make a straight line. I don't know if you can see it, but it should be something like this. So from top to bottom. Okay, so once you have that, with the knife, carefully, you're gonna remove the skin out of the plantain from here to here. It's okay if you take a little bit of plantain with you.
This is the trickiest part, at least when I've tried it. It can mess with you. Sometimes the skin is a little harder to take off properly.
Yes, so try to remove the top, and you should have something like this. So inside you have the plantain, and outside you have like the skin. And then you try to go from top to bottom to like remove the skin from the plantain for both sides.
So it'll be nice.
Yeah. So you should have something like this. Like you open you're able to see the plantain inside, and you can see the actual skin of the thing. So something like this. If your plantain is kind of yellow or a little soft, it's gonna be easier to remove the skin from the plantain itself. If it's greener, it's gonna be a little harder. So it's actually good that the ones that you got up growth, they were not too green. They were a little yellow, so that's good. So once we have something like this with the knife and with your fingers, I would recommend to use try with your fingers first, and then you try to use the knife. So you're just gonna try to remove the whole skin out of the fruit. You should have something like that.
Yeah. So if anyone's falling behind or isn't sure what they were supposed to do, you can ask, like, so we don't go without you.
Yeah. So you should remove the whole skin without any problems from the plantain. And if you have to, and you do that right away.
Yeah, these are nice ones.
Yeah, these are easy to peel, actually. So you should have something like this, and depending on the size of your plantain, I usually try to make 3 pieces out of 1 fruit. So I would cut it like this. So try to make like 3 pieces from this size. So compare it to my hand. If it's like larger, then you can make 4. You can make 2. I wouldn't recommend 1. Like hold up the whole thing. And each piece is gonna turn into a toast, like a little patacon. So yeah, once you have the thing peeled and cut, then you can start frying. And I would put more temperature to the oil so that it's like cooked nicely, so that it doesn't take like forever, but it doesn't burn right away.
You can just, you can put it on high.
Yeah. So you carefully put the pieces of plantain in the oil, and it's okay if the oil doesn't cover the whole thing. If it doesn't, then you can just make sure that when they're golden on one side, just try to like move them so that they can cook throughout the whole piece. I'm gonna move things here so that they can see.
We're just gonna show you if you're not sure how it's supposed to look like. That would be it, yeah. So they're not covered, they're only halfway covered.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would just have to turn them over after a little bit. How long?
Around 5 minutes, I would say. So if someone has any questions at this point, you could just ask me for something. But basically that's it for now. They're twice fried. So because when you get them green, or even when you get them a little white,
more rapid.
you still have to cook them twice because they're usually hard to cook without frying them twice. So like that. And this dish actually comes from Puerto Rico, which is a little island on the Caribbean part of Latin America. The first time it appeared on a cookbook, it was on 1859, so it was a while ago. And it quickly spread to all America because we pretty much have the same cuisine, you could say. And you can find for most countries the same like fruits, the same vegetables, and the same type of food. So yeah. Go ahead.
So that's the main area.
Yeah, this is most from the Caribbean. So even in Latin America, if you go to the south, like Argentina, Chile, they're not gonna be that related to this type of food.
And they all have their own take on
thing. And we are a huge like there's so many countries and so many differences between us. Like we're a whole ethnicity, you could say. But we all have like the way I cook it. Me as a Colombian, it could be different from someone from another country like Venezuela, or even from Puerto Rico, where it was originally created. So if you have something, I would recommend using like a fork to kind of move them around.
Yeah, just gently roll them around when they start to get golden on the bottom, you notice. How many minutes would it be on each side?
I would say 3 to 2 minutes.
On each side.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it should take about 7-8 minutes tops for everything to be done.
Maya? Maya,
Yes.
Joseph has a question.
Yeah.
What is the difference between a banana and a plantain?
Well, that's a good question. So the plantain is usually it's bigger, and they taste different. So when you fry them, if you do the same process with each one, they're gonna taste different. So I would mainly say their size, their flavor, and that they grow in 2 different plants. So yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see.
So I'm just gonna show you. They should be a little more golden. You can
Going
see
the
it. You
wrong
can see
way.
it. Maybe.
There we go.
So yeah, they're it's golden, not too golden, not too burn.
Yeah.
For the next part, we're gonna use a clean plastic bag, and we're also gonna use like a cutting board, like a wooden cutting board or something with a plain surface so that we can like
Yeah, you can smash them
or
flat.
flatten
Yeah.
the piece.
You'll see, it's my favorite part.
The smaller pieces usually fry faster than the bigger one. So I'm just gonna remove the smaller pieces that I have.
Here, we're just gonna show you what it looks like when it's all done and it's off of the
Oil.
frying pan, yes.
So you have those little, they're like golden on one side, more of the other, of course, but it should be something like this. That's what you should have.
Yeah.
For now. And we're gonna leave the oil like that. We're not gonna turn it down or put it up.
Yeah, so it stays on high.
Yes, medium high, depending on your surface point, of course. So for this part, have to be careful because of course it's a little hot. But for this, with the yeah, you could just put it there.
I'll just bring it closer.
Okay.
To it.
So with the bag, make sure it's clean because we're gonna smash it in here. So you take the bag and you put one piece inside the bag like that. And you should have like the piece of plantain is right here. And with the plain surface or cutting board, plate, whatever you have, you're gonna put pressure on it. And you're gonna feel that you could like get like flattened.
Yeah.
And then you can have something like this.
It's a flat plantain. Just be careful. They can be hot. So
Yeah,
when
it
you
can be
grab
hot.
them out, you
Just be
might-
careful.
yeah.
I'm used to it. But yeah. So for this part, gotta be careful because if you put a lot of pressure, then they're gonna be like really thin. My preference, I like them really thin, so just
It's- yeah, it's to taste at
yeah,
this point.
pretty much. So when you have them like this, remember the little water and like the garlic clove that I mentioned before? I have a little water. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, it's just the garlic is soaking inside the
Yeah,
water for a
it's
bit.
just like that, so that the when you pass them through the water, you can have that garlic taste, but it's gonna give them an extra crispy
Feel.
feel, and yeah. So you pass them through water, and careful because this is water and oil, so you just have to be very careful. Soak them a little, and then you put them in there. And then you repeat the same process over and over again until you finish mashing each piece.
And how many pieces do you say could go at one time?
Depending on the pan, of course. But for me, that's a white one. I would say 4 pieces. Gotta be really careful.
Might ask you at what age did you start cooking?
Oh, since I was like 12, you could say 12 or 11. And they usually don't take long to fry the second time. So you will remove them. There should be some.
Yeah, it should only take like half a minute at most for these to fry up. So yeah.
And we already cooked them like the first time.
So flatten them, carefully put them in the pan because they are soaked in water afterwards. And half a minute later, you can take them out.
So it's a matter of practice, I would say, since while you're like smashing them and watching they don't burn or something.
Just so you can see.
It's an option that you can skip the part where you put them in water, just they're just not going to be as crispy as they would be with the water.
But you can never go wrong with garlic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Taking it out, water, and okay. This is the same technique that we use when we cook arepas as well. So that's going to be for a different class. This is the last piece. Yeah.
Yeah, so they should be, for reference, they should be pretty hard and crispy when you take them out. If you're not sure, they might fall apart too.
Yeah, that's also normal for it to happen.
If they're thinner.
So if you're like your oil should be enough that it covers the whole thing once it's flattened. But if it doesn't, then it's fine. Then you could just like flip it around so that it can be golden on both sides. Oh yeah, totally. I try to make this depends if I find the plantains at the grocery store, because not every grocery store has it. But every time I found them, I buy like a bunch so that I can make like for breakfast, for lunch,
Yeah.
for dinner, whatever meal, pretty much. So yeah. This is the last piece. Yeah. No. Yeah. So for reference, you should end up with something like this. So they're like golden, they're flattened. If you put them through garlic water, then the ends should be like crispy.
Mhm.
And yeah, pretty much this is it.
So you can do this for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for anything.
Yeah.
It's a snack,
Yeah,
anything.
anything
And it's
really.
quick.
And yeah, it usually don't take more than 30 minutes once you have like the practice. And for the last part, I would recommend sprinkle them with salt on both sides. Well, depends on how much salt you want on them, but I usually just do like a little bit for both sides because I usually put feta cheese or like a really salty cheese, so I really don't need that much salt. I'm just flipping them. A little bit of that. And if it's optional, you can eat it like that. You could eat it with cheese, with sour cream, with sausages, by itself, with guacamole, with everything you want. It's like a toast. So you have that option to eat it with whatever you want, even with eggs in the morning. That's what I do. And my favorite, like my personal choice, it's always with sour cream because it's like plain, and then you have like the feta cheese or like a really salty cheese. And like the combination of the two, it's really good.
And that's like not only a snack, but you can like fill yourself up pretty good with.
Yes,
Because they do feed you pretty
they
well.
feel, yeah, they're really filling, to be honest. In my house, we usually do at one plantain per person, so it doesn't matter on how many patacones you make. It depends on the size of the plantain. So I usually take a little bit of sour cream, put it on top. If you're lactose intolerant, I would recommend this. And then a little bit of cheese that I already grated.
Yeah, it's like just toast.
Just like a little toast. And then you should have some pommes.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're really good. You could also make chips with it. You could also boil it and like smash it like smashed potatoes, but with plantains.
So for the chips, is it just the same process, but you cut them into thin chip slices?
Yeah, you also have to peel them if you want to make chips with it, but you would have to like slice them in like really thin slices.
Yeah, just to slice the plantain into little thin slices, and it's the same process.
Yeah, you fry them, you move them, and that's
And you have healthy chips.
it. I've tried it to make it on the air fryers, but it's not the same thing because the oil just, first of all, it gives it like a little extra flavor for me. And it also helps it cook faster because it's oil and it's not air. So yeah, if anyone have any more questions, just
Yeah, if anyone got stuck, I don't know who's cooking except for Pam. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, something like that. Oh, it's perfect. They don't take a lot of time.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's very short, very quick.
Is this the fastest thing out of the 4 things you're doing? Maybe.
Yeah, you could say so. For the other stuff, for the arepas, you have to do the dough first, and then you actually make the arepa. And for your beans, the time that it takes on the oven.
Yeah.
And for the vanilla one, it's a long process.
Oh,
That's like the longest one, the last one, other one. I think that Colombian food was not made for lactose intolerant people because we eat a lot of cheese, we eat a lot of sour cream and just dairy products. I'm sorry, it is what it is. It's like for Mexican people, they have this resistance or tolerance to hot food. We have it for like cheese, dairy, and everything pretty much. So it's a different,
yeah.
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 So yeah.
So just like you were able to buy the plantains and other ingredients that grow for this dish, it will be the same for the other three. We're gonna make sure it's there on Saturday before the next cooking class.
Yeah. And for Colombian food, we try to make the most of it out of the simple stuff. So for this dish, we fry it, we eat it sweet, we eat it when it's still green, we boil it, we just try to do as much as. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So there's alternatives to cheese. You don't have to eat
Yeah,
cheese.
you don't have for this dish though.
Yeah.
For the other ones, it's a little harder, but we can make it work, you know. So and like I was saying, we would usually we don't have a lot of like big stores back home. It specifically in my hometown, we don't have like big stores where you can buy a lot of stuff. We usually have like small grocery stores where you could just like buy what you need every day. So yeah. We also ate it sweet, like we could repeat the same process with like really right
Yeah, right.
plantains. If they're like even black, it works. We can make it work.
Don't be scared when your bananas and plantains are black. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's normal.
They're not done.
You can still make something.